Hello, YouTube content moderator who's going to demonetize this particular video. We are South Africans who care about defending ourselves against crime in one of the most violent countries in the world. And this video is going to demonstrate how not to do it. So before you demonetize this video, please just, be aware of that. Anyway, Byron is here. Hello, Byron. We have a
Hello.
very important distillation of what not to do when under attack by common criminals.
Absolutely.
So without any further ado, I'm going to play the entire video. It's only 40 seconds long, and then we will distill what went wrong.
Absolutely.
Oh, wait, bring out the gun. Just go. Pretty steady. Yeah. Okay, wait. Okay, go.
And that is the entire video. So Byron, let's talk about the first port of call here. Number one, my friends, for those watching, your car is a weapon as well. For the love of God and all that is holy, don't stop when you're under attack.
Yeah, I mean, we see this in a number of videos, don't we? Like the individual is approached by some individuals that clearly mean to do them harm. So from the legislative framework, you're allowed to exercise self-defense in any remit if you have reasonable suspicion to believe that your life or those around you are in danger. And that danger is the threat of physical violence or death. So in this instance, it's clearly reasonable to believe that some individuals approaching your car are there to hurt you. They are going to kill you, rape you, or steal your belongings or whatever. You don't know what they have on you. We can't really clearly see from the video whether or not these people are armed or not. But you have to look at the weapons that you have. The biggest, most powerful weapon you have is your car. Use it.
Indeed. And I mean, through the footage, you can see there's 4 guys. At least 3 of them have weapons, and you hear shots being fired once those people, the poor people, actually stop in the middle of the road waiting for who knows what. So if you are driving and there's 4 people in the middle of the road with weapons drawn, as we saw right at the beginning of this clip, you go right through them. You don't stop, you don't swerve, you don't do whatever else. You speed up and think of your car as a weapon. First and foremost, that is the most important thing you need to know based on this particular video. Number 2, the people around you don't give a shit about you. Other cars are traveling and they are speeding right past. They're not going to stop you. They're not going to help you. They're not going to defend you at all. Which means what, Byron?
It basically means you're on your own. And that's a really, really important aspect to recognize. These criminals are doing it in broad daylight because they know the average member of the public is not going to stop because they don't want to become themselves a victim of crime. There are other reasons, so let's just consider those very quickly, why somebody might not want to stop. The next is because they don't know why the crime has occurred. And what they don't want to do is maybe you're in the wrong. Maybe you drove past and shot someone. They don't know. So because they don't know the situation of what's occurring, they don't want to get involved. And the third point is they don't want to then become a statistic themselves, right? So they don't want to stop and they help you and then they get robbed and their car's stolen as well. So you need to understand that the majority of people will feign blind ignorance. They will constantly drive past at high speed and they will ignore you. The criminal knows that as well as we do. So if your suspicion is, well, nobody would do this because people would stop and help, you're dreaming. The average individual doesn't want to become a victim of crime, which means they won't stop to assist where a crime is occurring. That is the average of individual. Yes, you occasionally get your Leons and that will stop and get involved and help, but do not rely on it, which means the only people there in that car who can be an aid to you at that point in time is you and your passenger. And we can clearly hear there's a female passenger in the car. So that's it. That's all you got to rely on, mate. Like, you're stopping the car, you're actually putting her in harm's way. Your duty fundamentally is to protect her, or her to protect you, whichever way, who is the driver. We can't tell who's driving. I think it's him. In which case, you don't slow. Speed up. You need to protect people
and
in the car.
importantly, your fellow roadgoers are not evil. They're not trying to endanger you. They just know that it's a very precarious situation. They themselves are probably not prepared, or probably not armed, or probably trained to deal with these sort of situations. So it is much
100%.
easier, and the survival instinct is to get out as fast as possible. So we're not saying the people around them are evil. That you just cannot rely on them based on those factors that we discussed just now.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So, you're seeing something like this happen, and we see this quite a bit in South Africa. Like, a guy might pull up a car in front of you, he'll block your access way because he wants to hijack you or something. And people just like freeze. They forget that they have this 40-ton whatever vehicle underneath them. It's like, reverse the car, drive into the car in front. Like, drive them over. That you have one of the most powerful weapons you can get, a car. Now, your argument might be, yeah, but what if they start shooting at me? Hitting a moving target is a hell of a lot harder than you think. And hitting a small person in a moving target is even harder.
Yep.
Now, does that mean that you cannot be shot? Of course not. Of course you can be shot. But your chances of survival are greatly increased by speeding away at speed. And if you want, swerve all over the show just to avoid being a straight line of a target. But slowing down like this and almost being like, yeah, have what you want. The idea that you will roll over and give them what they want and they will leave you alone is farcical. It's farcical. Remind yourself of one thing. All criminals are the same. And that is, their number one fear is getting caught. They don't want to be caught. Because the consequences of getting caught could be jail, could be firefights, could be whatever. Could be their face all over the news. They don't want to be caught. So with that in mind, that criminal is not going to stay there for a large amount of time whilst you sort yourself out. If you hit that guy, he's off. He doesn't want to be found. He doesn't want to be involved in a crime that may result in them being injured themselves, because that could lead to forms of identity. At the same time, they're not going to leave you alone because you know who they are. So if your thought is, I'm going to give you everything you got and the guy's just going to leave me alone, you're dreaming. He doesn't want to be identified.
Yeah.
He may take the chance of eliminating the witness, which is you.
Yeah, believe it or not, criminals also have self-preservation, right? If there is enough resistance, it is not worth the risk to pursue whatever goal they had. So the resistance
100%.
is driving them over, the resistance is driving away, the resistance is shooting back or shooting first.
100%.
Any sort of resistance has a higher chance of you escaping or not being a victim of the crime in the first place. That's also a very important
100%.
mindset to do here.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And it's important to recognize this. Any individual that may watch this and then go, yeah, but I don't want to be charged. You may have to go to the police station and give a statement. The police may even read you memoranda, which is basically telling you that you may be investigated for a crime. The chances of you actually being involved in that, where you actually get prosecuted by the MPA, is very low. And the reason for that is because they need to have a case. And that case needs to be proved beyond reasonable doubt. You live in South Africa. The chances of it being self-defense in terms of the legislation is kind of high. No MPA individual is going to be like, you're not going to be like, oh, this is a worthwhile case to pursue.
Yeah.
So you may have to go through that.
Sorry, and besides, I'd rather go through a criminal court case than to be murdered on the side of the street, right? Simple.
Absolutely. So you have to take that mindset. If you're worried about being criminally prosecuted, join AfriForum. AfriForum has a free legal expense insurance attached to that. If you don't like AfriForum because you think they're racist, join Firearms Guardian, who may help you. Like, there are alternatives. But the worst thing you can do is stop. Give these people everything they want and just assume they'll leave you alone. You are pitting an awful lot of power and you are relinquishing an awful lot of freedom into the hands of another. And you don't really know what the potential outcome of that could be.
No.
Remember, these people, you now know who they are. So the rights to self-preservation would say to me, well, eliminate the witness. Eliminate the witness because then he can't ever talk about it. So your chance of actually being involved in you being the victim of physical violence is greatly increased. I'd much rather pay for the bumper bashing and a water wash on my front of my car and just splatter somebody. You're in the far better interest.
It is much easier. And the first thing, use your car as a weapon, which it is a weapon. Number two, you can't rely on people around you to save you. Number three, rather do something wrong and save your life than lose your life. And number four, one of the most important ones that people overlook, film everything. So we only know about this video because there is a front forward facing camera on the vehicle itself. It helps you in terms of insurance claims, and most importantly, if you do run over someone or if you do defend yourself in some way, you have video evidence to show what you were doing. That is all you 100%. Need to get off as well. So 100%. Those are the four main things I got from this video. Byron, anything else to add on your side?
No, and let's not underestimate the power of that video footage, because even if that did go to the MPA's desk and they saw 4 guys walking your car with intent to either commit physical violence or an act of murder, you would be so justified in a self-defense running over, a hit and run. It would be very difficult to see how the MPA would want to prosecute that. Don't underestimate. You're going to have to go to the police station and give a statement, because they don't know if you are just like doing a joyride and thinking that life's Grand Theft Auto. They don't know that. But that video footage helps clear your name so quickly. So if you don't have a dash cam, get a dash cam.
Yeah, get a dash cam. And we didn't even talk about guns. Imagine that. Though you should get one anyway. But it's not the point of this particular video.
Being said.
Yeah. All right, everyone. Thanks for watching. I hope you found this a bit useful. And if YouTube has demonetized us, shame on you. But if they have demonetized us and suppressed the video, please share it around with those who might find it as useful as you did. Thanks for watching, everyone. See you in the next one.
Thanks.
Cheers.
Bye.